Welcome to the Two Geeks and a Microphone podcast, your one-stop shop for television, movie, video games, comic books, book reviews, and more. Now, without further ado, here's Stephen Ake.
And welcome, everybody. We are so glad and excited that you are listening to the Two Geeks and a Microphone podcast. My name is Stephen Boster, along with my illustrious friend, Mr. Michael Shanks. And we are here today to talk all kinds of fun geekdom. And so thanks so much for joining us. Well, I gotta say, I am excited and pumped for today. So, Mike, would you ever so graciously just introduce our wonderful guest that we have with us today?
I sure would. We have, it's an honor to introduce this guest. In fact, he is one of my podcast heroes. We have the one and only from Rebel Force Radio, my friend and yours, Jimmy Mack.
Yay! Hey, Stephen. Hey, Michael. So good to see you guys. Michael, of course, you and me have actually met in person a few times. As a matter of fact, I went out to lunch with you and your fabulous family.
We had some awesome pizza.
Yeah, we went to Giordano's.
Oh.
And yeah, Mike wanted to have a Chicago deep dish. And so that's where I break in newbies. And then, yeah, Giordano's. And that's a good one to start with.
Oh my gosh, that was incredible. I would love to go back and have some of that pizza.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
But you guys were breezing through my neighborhood on your way to Great America,
yes,
which
sir.
is Six Flags up in Gurnee, Illinois. So that's north of me by what, like an hour or 45 minutes an hour.
Something like that.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So you stopped in and we went out and got some pizza. Oh, also hung out at the Galloping Ghost Arcade, one of my favorite places in the world.
Played some Star Wars and played some Miss Pac-Man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Very cool.
Oh yeah, you were talking a big game about Miss Pac-Man.
I sure was, and you still beat me.
I was lucky. That's
all. I was having an off day.
No, but I could see the skills were very present in your gameplay. I could tell that you were definitely a very good Ms. Pac-Man player. You know, Ms. Pac-Man is one of the top 5 all-time arcade games. Do you have any guesses what the other 4 would be?
Donkey Kong.
Yeah, that's one.
Galaga.
Galaga's one.
We are dating ourselves. This is awesome.
Yeah. Asteroids.
Good guess, but no.
Okay. I'm at a loss now.
Well, it would. Okay. Well, we said Pac-Man.
Uh-huh.
I mean, Ms. Pac-Man, Donkey Kong, Galaga, of course, Pac-Man.
Okay. Yeah.
Those 2.
Okay.
And then the 5th one is the one that a lot of people miss. It's Defender.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which surprises me. It surprises me. I would think Asteroids or Space Invaders. I would think they were higher up.
I would agree. Yeah.
I think it's because the gameplay in Defender was so challenging that it just ate your quarters. So to get a fulfilling experience, 1 quarter wouldn't do. You'd have to spend like $5.
Oh yeah.
Just to spend any kind of significant time with the machine. So because it was such a quarter eater, I think that maybe its popularity might be inflated a little bit. It's such a hard game. It is such a hard game. And so we go to Galloping Ghost Arcade, which is the world's largest arcade. They have like 800 plus games, all different titles, 800 different titles. And so we go there and play, and it's on free play. You just pay admission to go in, and then you could play the machines as long as you want. And I've spent some significant time with Defender. And I walk away from that game like worse than I was when I started. It's so complicated.
Now, wait a minute. I thought Q*bert was your game.
I love Q*bert. Now, see, Q*bert's a game where I can actually make a serious run on some world records. But if I was to try to break the Qbert world record, it would require me playing the game nonstop for like 3 days. And I think you can earn enough free guys over a long enough time where you can walk away from the machine for half an hour if you have to. And you'll still have enough Qberts to continue playing. I don't get how they do that.
Qbert, but I suck at it.
It's fun. It'll drive you
love
insane. It will drive you insane if you continue to play. I have noticed that I'm not the same person I used to be before I started binging Qbert. Something's just a little off with me ever since I got hooked on that game.
I don't think that has anything to do with Qbert.
That's you sound like my wife Wendy now. There you go. Well, it's good to be hanging with you guys.
Yeah, we love it.
I really appreciate the invite to have me on.
So you ready to step up to the virtual coffee table?
Yeah, let's do that.
So today we're going to step into the virtual coffee table. Normally, Jimmy Mack would talk about Star Wars, but we invited him on our podcast where he can be a little different. And today we're going to talk about Batman, the 1966 Batman. So, Stephen, I think we moved the virtual coffee table. Let's see where it's at.
To the bat poles.
Right on. Yeah, I loved Batman when I was a kid. I was always catch these reruns. This Batman holds a special place in my heart only because my introduction to Batman was Adam West Batman and Burt Ward. That was it. I could not wait to catch the next episode, and it killed me every time you hear that, next bat time, next week, same bat time, same bat channel kind of a thing. So I'm excited to talk about this. Mike, where should we begin with our whole discussion about this particular iteration of Batman? What's our, are we just talking Adam West today, or are we talking Burt Ward? Are we talking Julie Newmar?
Well, I'm sure we can go into a little bit of all of that. I mean, the whole reason this subject even came up because I heard Jimmy and Jason on Rebel Force Radio discussing collectibles, and Jason had asked Jimmy if he collected anything besides Star Wars, what would he collect? And Jimmy, I believe you said it would be Batman, and you said that the 66 Batman was your favorite. Am I correct? Am I correct on that?
Yeah, well, the reason he really threw me for a loop when he asked me that, and I assumed he was talking like out of nerdy things.
Yeah.
So I said Batman because it was really the first thing I was ever a fan of.
Nice.
That I can recall. I can say the 1966 Batman was the first thing I was ever a fan of. And something else is, I think the first thing I ever coveted in my life was, as a 3-year-old, I wanted a pair of Batman slippers. I don't know how I got turned on to them, but I saw a pair of them and had to have them. Had to have them. And it was one of those things. I eventually was given a pair for my birthday. And so, 3 years old, those are some of my earliest memories. And I could recall running around our apartment in Oak Park, Illinois. And I can see the rug as I'm looking down at my Batman slippers as I'm motivating around the apartment. And I can just see it. I can still see it vividly, that memory. And I could remember the feeling like I really want that. I'm not sure if it was the Batman slippers or the Snoopy snow cone machine, but it was one of those two.
I remember that.
Those are like the first things I ever could recall having a desire to own in my life. The first time I ever coveted an item was Batman slippers.
Yep. So I remember waking up one Easter morning. I didn't get candy. I got the Batmobile, the 1966 Batmobile for Easter. Now, imagine my shock a year later when at Easter I did not get any other Batman stuff.
Oh yeah. Yeah, the tradition was established and needed to be carried through annually.
That's
Wow.
correct.
And,
That's
so
correct.
that's the first time you realize that the Easter bunny's unreliable.
Right.
I mean, he's a
right.
bunny. He's a bunny. What do you expect?
Well, I think rabbits have short-term memory, so they probably couldn't remember that.
They have short lives if they live in my backyard with my crazy ferocious dogs. My dog Tiki, he brought in a rabbit on Easter Sunday once, much to the horrified screaming of my wife. That's true. That's true.
How old were your boys back then?
They were just little kids. Yeah. Tiki's not around anymore, but man, he would behead rabbits, and we wouldn't find the heads.
Oh man. So wait, it's worse than everyone. They talk about when you get the chocolate bunnies for rabbit. The first for Easter, the first thing that you do is you bite off the ears. So he didn't just bite the ears off; he just bites the entire head off.
Yeah, he's ferocious. But no, I never received any Batman tchotchkes or anything for Easter. And to take in a Batmobile, that's a serious haul. Now, was it the Corgi die-cast one, or was it the plastic one for the Mego figures?
It was the big plastic one, so I could put figures in it.
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah.
It was a score of an Easter, let me tell you.
Yeah, I was really fond of the Mego action figures as a kid. I was very fond of those. Those were definitely parts of my early Christmases and birthdays, and the Batcave, the Mego Batcave, the vinyl Batcave. You'd set it up. It would fold up into a carrying case, and then you could open it up, and you would have. It was based on the '66 Batman.
Yep.
It was, the layout was like that.
Now,
You come down the poles. What's that?
Yep.
Did you have one of those?
I did.
Oh.
And I remember the day it was sold in a garage sale.
Oh.
And I didn't think twice about it until I was at Wizard World one year and I saw it on a table, and it all just like hit me. Like, so that's kind of on my list. If I I'm going to spend on something. It's hard though, because my collecting budget mostly goes to Star Wars. It all goes to Star Wars, let's face it. And so I can't open myself up to having that collection like I told Jason I'd like to have. But if I did have a Batman collection, you bet I'd have that vinyl Batcave set up. And I don't need it in the box or anything. I just want it complete and not like chewed on or whatever. Mine was heavily played with. And what's interesting is if I do reacquire the Batcave, there'll be a lingering thought in the back of my head that like, this could have been mine. From when I was a kid. It just like circled back to me somehow. So, I can dream. I can dream, right?
Well, that's what we all do, right? We all dream about all these collectibles that we want. And
Yeah.
So
I don't think I don't growing up, I don't remember having a lot of Batman collectibles when I was a kid. I think I did have the Mego doll. But I didn't really start collecting Batman per se till 89. Then I really, really got into it.
Really? So you do collect Batman?
I do. Not as much as Star Wars, but Batman is probably a top collectible for me. Yeah.
I have a Joker bank, a vintage Joker bank.
Ooh.
Yeah. It's like a bust of Joker. And
Okay.
and you put like, coins in the back of his green haired head.
I got a Batman like that on my desk at work.
Yes. That's probably the only vintage thing I still have. It's something that I had from when I was a kid, and it sort of has followed me around everywhere. When you go out into life and you start moving around from place to place, starting in college, and then you get a place with like 4 other guys after college, and then you settle down and all this stuff. There are a few items from your childhood bedroom that have followed you through all of these places. And the Joker bank is one of those things. I don't have many other things like that, but the Joker bank is definitely one of those things.
Very cool. Now, when you said you were, okay, so you were a fan with the the old Adam West show. So is that where
Yes.
like you started collecting stuff was then, or?
Yeah,
were
well, I
you-
mean, as a kid, the Mego figures were the real big deal. That
Yeah.
was the stuff. And then I had maybe like color forms and stuff, but I wasn't collecting. I was just a kid with toys.
Right.
And
Right.
and it was the 70s and yeah, I read the comic books and it was
Mhm.
just campy. The comic books were campy like the TV show was.
Sure.
And the TV show was great, but it was elusive because I was watching the reruns in the 70s. And so
Mhm.
they would come and go out of syndication
Yep.
Yep.
and it would just go and we had no information outside of the TV guide.
Yep.
And so no announcements were ever made or
That's
anything
right.
like that. Usually they would shift with the seasons, they would
Mhm.
shift the programming and stuff.
I remember traumatized as a kid. I was like, wait a minute.
Where'd
It's
it go?
that time. It's same bat channel. Where did you
Right. I've been lied to.
right?
I've been lied to by that voice.
Right.
But it was so and like most people, to me it was like super high adventure when I was a little kid. I was terrified when they would leave us with those cliffhangers. Specifically, the one I remember is Catwoman had Batman down at the bottom of a pit and she was taunting him, and there was a, a tiger on the other side of the gate and it was going to lift up and come and eat it. I just remember being
Right.
terrified by that.
Yeah.
Holy
Like,
cat food, Batman.
yeah, but
Oh,
yeah,
I forgot.
you got to do that. You got to punch
You have
your
to do that. I
fist in your
forgot.
hand.
So those who are listening, what we're doing is that whole thing that Burt Ward would always do to his Robin. He'd always pop one fist inside of his hand together all the time.
That's how you
I
got to
heard that
do
was
it.
kind of something that he did. That wasn't scripted or directed.
Yeah.
He just did that, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Wow.
Burt Ward
Genius.
improvised that. Yeah.
And he didn't win an Emmy. Unbelievable. I mean, that was the best fist in the palm punch. And yeah, and he
Ever.
did it. And that was just the emphasis. He would emphasize everything with that. And so it was just, to me, it was just the greatest show when I was a little kid. And then when I got into high school, I was like, oh my God, that show is terrible. I really felt that way. I'm like, how
We
could
all
I have
did.
been, how could I have been so intense about my
Yeah,
feelings
right.
toward these? I said, this is just crap. And then when I got into college, I was like, oh, wait a second. Now I get it. This is campy. This is supposed to be that way. And so then I got into it. Then it was a lot of lunch breaks with the guys in the dorm standing around watching. They would do back-to-back Batman episodes on Channel
Oh, wow.
32 in Chicago. And so they would do these back-to-back episodes
Nice.
midday.
That's awesome.
And so, it'd just be a nice middle of the day break. And so we actually were like serious about it. We're like, oh yeah, we're gonna get together for Batman. And yeah, it was just, one of those things,
Oh, that's great.
and so and that's just like how I got kind of reacquainted with it. And then just a few years ago, my boys gave me the Blu-ray box set of all the episodes
Oh,
with
nice.
with the bonus features and all of that stuff too. And
Right.
so,
Right. Now it went for 2 years. Is it 2
Yeah.
seasons or 3?
Yeah. Well, it was 3 seasons and it was filmed between 66 and 68.
okay, well, it wasn't 3 seasons. Now I do know this,
I actually took notes.
that they would do 2 episodes a week though. So
Yeah.
that kind of inflates the episode
Okay.
count.
Okay.
So, you get those cliffhangers and it'd be,
Right.
be here
Oh,
tomorrow,
yeah,
same
yeah,
bad
definitely.
time.
Is that the only show where it was 2 times a week? Because I don't ever.
I don't know. I don't know.
Oh, that's some interesting trivia there.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good question. I don't know
Because I've
that
never
one.
heard of a show where it's twice a week. You know.
Mm-mm.
I just remember watching it every day. I could not wait. I get home from school. It was like kindergarten or
Yeah.
whatever, and I would come home right after, have my lunch, and I would try to catch the next episode because I those cliffhangers. I agree with you. They killed me. I was like, what happened? What happened? And then when they would come back and it was something simple like, hey, it's in my utility belt, or something, or if I could only reach this.
Yes.
If I could
Yes.
only read.
I'm like, wait, I waited all that for that simple what?
Mhm.
No, I quite enjoyed it. I have to say this. I really enjoyed Cesar Romero as Joker.
Genius.
Yes, he was.
Genius. I like that
Yeah.
word. Yeah. Was really good. And I couldn't wait to see well, wait a minute. I was about to say he was the guy he was the villain I always wanted to see, but that's not true because I enjoyed some Catwoman.
Mhm.
Well, we all wanted to see Catwoman.
Right?
Mhm. Mhm. And Batgirl.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But see, well, I thought the Batgirl episodes were really cool because it was so different. And then they included her in the animated intro.
Yep.
So it felt like, oh boy, a Batgirl episode. But then as I rewatched the series as an adult, I realized that you see the show is really starting to run out of gas at that point.
Well, they
Yeah.
brought Batgirl in to try and pick it up. And the interesting thing about Batgirl is she's the first character that was introduced on television and then brought into the comic books.
Ooh.
And then in the 90s, they repeated that with Harley. Harley Quinn was introduced in the Batman animated series.
Yeah.
And then she was then so popular that
Mhm.
she put her in the comic books also.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And
I
both
think
fantastic characters too.
as a little kid, I had a big crush on Batgirl.
Well, who didn't?
Yeah, yeah. But only Batgirl, not Barbara Gordon.
Right. Well,
I think I had a thing for redheads. Yeah, I knew it was a wig.
Right.
Keep it on, keep it on.
So wait, Batgirl or Wonder Woman then?
Well, Wonder Woman.
Who would you choose between the two?
Wonder Woman is Wonder Woman.
Well,
I mean,
of course.
she's Wonder Woman.
So so you choose.
I don't have a choice here. Oh, I do have a choice, honey. What is that? Oh,
Right.
the answer is Wendy.
You're right.
Good choice. Good choice.
Right.
Well, now
You're welcome. Okay.
Now my wife knows that my celebrity crush is Harley Quinn.
Harley Quinn.
Yeah. That's my celebrity crush.
The actress, right?
Well, I love the cartoon character. See,
what's her name? Margot Robbie. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
in Suicide Squad, right? Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
But see, I loved Harley when she was just an animated character. So Brenda would always say, "Well, I don't have anything to worry about because his crush is a cartoon." So
yeah.
And then they came out with the movie, and she's like, "Oh boy."
Yeah. I have to say this is really off topic, but my celebrity crush was not Batman oriented. It was Slave Leia. Sorry.
Oh well, we all went through that period.
We all did.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who didn't love Slave Leia?
Yeah.
Oh wait. She's not Slave Leia now. She's the Hutt Slayer.
Yes. Well, I guess.
Okay.
I don't know.
All right, now we slipped into Star Wars territory.
That's my bad. My bad. Time out. My bad. I own that one. Sorry. Back to Batman. So, I will say this. One of the scenes I always enjoyed in those was every time they were walking on the side of the buildings, and they were like, they were making it stress look they were coming up, and then you'd have all these different actors and actors that would pop in and say stuff. I always enjoyed those scenes within with the climbing the sidewall, where it was just sometimes it was just Batman, sometimes it was Robin, a lot of times both of them and stuff. But I enjoyed those scenes out of the old show.
Yeah, I mean, who I think they had the Rat Pack popping out of there. At least I know Sammy Davis came up.
Sammy Davis. Wasn't Frank Sinatra on there too?
I was just thinking of that.
I think he was. I think Frank Sinatra was.
Yes. And how about list of actors appearing on wall sequence in Batman show?
Well, now
Let's see
speaking of,
what comes up here.
Okay, I did it.
Show.
I'm doing it too. We got
while you
Jerry
guys are looking
Lewis.
it up, while
Oh,
you
he's
guys
got
are
it.
looking
He's
up-
got it good, so I don't have to do the work.
Yeah,
So
you don't
wait a
have to do the
minute.
work.
So
Uh,
an interesting little fact here: Frank Sinatra actually wanted to play the Joker originally.
Oh, I seem to recall hearing that.
I
Yeah,
did not hear that. I didn't
Yeah.
know that.
Frank
So,
Sinatra.
Steven, give us some good names that popped out of those windows while they were
Okay,
climbing
we've
the wall.
got okay, so I mentioned Jerry Lewis, Dick Clark,
Wow.
Wow.
the Green Hornet, and Kato.
Yeah, well, that was
Yep.
a spin on. Wasn't that by the same producers of Batman?
Yeah, in fact, Bruce Lee was introduced on
Uh-huh.
Batman. Mhm.
I
Yes.
okay, I thought so. I wonder if that was someone. Okay,
Oh, yeah.
Sammy Davis. We mentioned him. Sammy Davis Jr.
Yeah, man.
Him and his one eye.
Wow.
Right here. Let me see. Who else do we have here? Let's see. Green Hornet. Bill Dana as I don't know who that is. Bill Dana.
Building. Yeah. He was a comedian.
Okay. Oh, he was a
Actor,
regular on
comedian.
Ed Sullivan. So
Yeah.
okay.
Mhm.
That's
Yeah,
a little
yeah,
bit
the-
before
the-
my time.
The old talk show circuit. He
Yeah.
would show up.
Werner. I'm going to mispronounce his last name. Klimperer. He was.
Oh yeah, from
Colonel
Hogan's
Klink.
Heroes. Yeah, Colonel Klink.
Colonel Klink.
So,
wow.
So like lots of famous people poking her, and of course they were just walking on a floor,
Right. And they would just pop out. Yeah.
and these guys would just pop out from holes underneath the floor.
Yeah.
How did they? What they probably have the string on the capes to make
Oh,
it
I'm
look
sure.
like it was.
Right.
I think the capes were always the tips of the capes were always out of frame, so you couldn't see the stage-hands there holding them. Walking behind them like they're behind the bride at a wedding,
right. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Holding the dress.
I love
Holding
it.
the dress,
That's
make sure it fans out okay and
Would
everything.
have been a good gig. Would have been
So,
a
do you
good
think
gig.
the scene in the Mandalorian where the Mandalorian's climbing the side of the sand crawler, you think that was inspired by that?
Maybe a little bit. I mean, there's a lot of
Like it.
you can look at the Mandalorian a lot of times and see Batman. The
Well,
cape,
that's true. All the gadgets.
the stature, the gadgets, the stealth, all of that stuff. It really appears a lot in some episodes where you almost feel like you're watching Batman.
Well, I think that whole scene was designed. They had so many celebrities that wanted to be a part of Batman, and of course, they didn't have parts for everybody. So they came up with this idea of them climbing the side of a building and them popping
Oh,
out
yeah.
the window and stuff. So
Yeah, I
was just-
recall hearing stories that it was just so hot in Hollywood, the Batman show, that everyone wanted to have a guest starring role on an episode. They all wanted to be the guest bad guy. They all wanted to
Yep.
be Caesar Romero.
Yeah.
They all
Yeah.
wanted that. But I mean, the casting was so great. Burgess Meredith is the Penguin.
Oh yeah,
Oh.
fantastic.
Yeah.
He was
Mhm. I mean,
And then,
there was just
Frank-
something so naturally great about him playing that role. Not
Mm-hmm.
to take anything away from Danny DeVito, which was also really inspired casting. But DeVito was just gross, With Burgess Meredith, Penguin, it was like you'd see him hanging out at the racetrack. Like where
Right.
like the Penguin that DeVito did was like a cellar dwelling, guy who lived in the sewers and
Right.
just disgusting.
Steven's not a fan of that iteration of Penguin. We
I
talked
am
about
not.
that in the
I
previous-
No,
do not like him because I always am because of my experience with with the TV series. Burgess Meredith was the classy,
yeah.
the villain who was smart, who had money,
Mhm.
and was not as I would say the DeVito. Well, I don't. That may just be a Tim Burton thing because he always likes the dark, that
Yeah.
dark
Sure.
characters and stuff. But I thought that was a huge departure from what I, had always envisioned in my mind of, hey, the Penguin is a classy villain, kind of a thing. And Burgess Meredith helped bring that. He was goofy,
Mhm.
Again, it was campy, but it was still that style of a villain who I thought was okay. He's rich like Bruce Wayne is, but he's kind of like this criminal mastermind. I always loved the umbrellas. I always
Oh
loved
yeah.
Oh, the
umbrellas.
gadget umbrellas. Of
Yeah.
course. That's the best stuff.
With the machine guns in it and all that
Yes.
stuff. Oh yeah.
Right.
Fantastic.
So how many of you, when you were a kid, you got your parents' umbrella and you tried to do something, like that?
Constantly.
And now
Yeah.
I will say, when the Kingsman came out, the movie came out, I was so excited. Oh, we got the penguin umbrellas in
Nice.
in spy movies. This is great.
Hey, I'm sure this is Burgess Meredith inspired, but my brother Bill and I were goofing around with some umbrellas inside the house. And you know how they say it's bad luck to open an umbrella inside the house?
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I could kind of validate that statement a little bit here. So,
it sounds like it's going to be a good one.
Inspired by what I saw over the years from Burgess Meredith's Penguin and his all-powerful umbrellas, I thought, hey, I opened up the umbrella and I said, Billy, throw that baseball over here. Just chuck it.
Oh.
And I thought it was going to like bounce back to him. Like he can catch it.
Oh yeah.
Oh
yeah.
no, we're gonna get a Brady Bunch moment too, aren't we?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So he threw it, and instead of it bouncing off of the umbrella, it just like rode up to the top of it and just hit me right in the nose. It took off like a ramp. Like it went up the ramp and just right into my nose. Bloody nose and everything. Oh, my nose. So yeah. I didn't get the I thought it was gonna like bounce up and he'd rebound and
oh sure. Yeah, I would have thought the same thing.
no, it rode. It like he threw the ball and it just boom right up the ramp into my face.
No, wait a minute. Let me ask you this. So as soon as it hit that umbrella, it started coming towards you. Did everything go into slow motion and you were like, uh-oh, this ought to be good?
Oh, my recall of it is extremely vivid. And yeah. No, it was right as it was like midway up the umbrella. I thought to myself, oh, of course. Of course it. I watch fails on YouTube with my son, fails, people falling down.
Yeah.
They have all different themes and stuff, workshop fails. So we often say they should call these videos, what the hell did you think was going to happen? And so as the ball was running up the umbrella, I was like, what the hell did you think was going to happen? Yeah. But all inspired by Burgess Meredith's Penguin. So
of course, right?
He had the long nose. He had the long nose, didn't he?
Yeah. Oh yeah, he did.
Yeah. So
he got hit by a bunch of balls when he was younger.
Maybe that's a result of that. Yeah. He had to go through so much surgery on the nose that it just kind of came to a point.
When I said that we're gonna have a Brady Bunch moment, you had a Brady Bunch moment, but it wasn't the moment I thought it was gonna be.
Oh, really?
I thought it was gonna be. Mom always says, "Don't play ball.
Don't
in the
play
house.
ball in the house."
But instead, it turns out to be Jan. Jan breaks her nose.
Marcia.
That's right, Marcia.
Oh, my nose. Oh, you can't play ball inside, can't play ball outside. It sucks being a Brady.
Right.
If you guys ever want to have discussions about that stupid show, I can wield some expert level knowledge at you. Unfortunately.
Well, I knew you were a Brady Bunch fan. That's why I threw that in.
Well, I mean, it was like, that's what was in syndication at the time.
Oh yeah.
Batman, the Brady Bunch. Yeah. At least the Brady Bunch was more part of the 70s. Batman was that was several years before I was watching TV. So but I mean, it just when I found it, I just lost my mind.
Oh yeah. So did you used to watch the Super Friends cartoon too?
Of course. Yeah. I mean, so that's like totally part of it,
Yeah.
You get up early because that was an early one on Saturday on ABC. Yep. And I think that would come on like 7 a.m. or something.
Yeah, I think so.
You have to get up early for that one. That showed true devotion on a Saturday morning to get up that early when you don't have to go to school, when you could sleep in. But no,
Super Friends.
That's right.
Super Friends are on.
Cocoa Krispies or whatever.
Mhm. Yeah. We'd have all the blankets on the floor,
Right.
on the shag carpeting in front of the TV.
Yeah, you had your snacks, you had your cereal, you were eating dry while
Oh.
watching cartoons and stuff.
And
Yeah.
getting educated by Schoolhouse Rock.
That's right.
You know, it's not like we were just sitting there eating sugary stuff.
Right. Now, hey,
But,
now
yeah.
didn't Fred, excuse me, Adam West, didn't he return back? Wasn't there like a Super Friends special, a live action Super Friends special that he actually came back for to do? Because this was after the TV show.
Yeah, there is yes. I don't think I've ever sat through it all though. I forget what it's called. You know who the real Batman expert is from Rebel Force Radio is Jason Swank. I mean, that
Oh,
guy
really?
he's like a Batman expert. Well, you guys
Well-
got stuck with me. So, I mean, good luck getting Swank. You'll never get him.
He's got an open invitation. I sent him a message, and yeah, he doesn't.
Did he respond?
No, no. Put a bug in his ear for us.
No, it's you know what? No, I don't tell
we would-
Jason what to do.
Right. You can't tell him what to do. Just,
I don't tell him what
like
to
a little subliminal message.
You're on your own, pal.
Oh,
Listen, I have a hard enough time booking Swank for Rebel Force Radio. Let him do your show.
well, you know, he's a big star and all.
He is. Are you kidding? Podcast pioneer Jason Swank.
Darn right.
He's one of the best damn broadcasters I've ever been around, and I've been around the best.
That's cool.
I
been around
wholeheartedly
the
agree with
best.
you.
He's
you
a
guys are my heroes.
wickedly great communicator and very articulate and very sharp. He's
Hey,
just like dream come true when it comes to having somebody to be doing podcasting with. I mean, can't say enough about the guy.
I was listening to Jason before you came on, you know,
Me too. Yeah.
hashtag
For a week or so.
hashtag bring back Pete.
Yeah. Still hurts. Still hurts. I love Pete. I had 2 phone calls with him to convince him to try and stay on with the show because we were having so much fun, the 3 of us. But you know, life calls and me and Jason are more like naturally broadcasters.
Yeah.
And that's just what it comes down to. I don't know if Pete ever exhibited a level of comfort being just out there, you know.
Well,
And
I love Pete, but I love the energy that you two guys have together. But you know, I think it's great when Pete comes on as a special guest for you guys.
oh
He-
yeah,
he
we love
does
it, Pete.
fantastic.
And that'll always happen. That'll always happen. We love hanging with him. So
Okay, so we diverged again.
yeah, you do that. You do that with me. I'll let that happen. So you have to keep me on a short leash.
Okay.
Well,
It's
that's
true.
Uh-oh.
that's supposed to be Steven's job.
Yeah,
It is supposed to be
Steven.
my job. Sorry.
Yes. Yeah. He thinks I'll listen to you because I haven't hung out with you yet.
Right.
And so Michael thinks you're some authority now over me. So I'll behave myself since this is the first time we've met.
Yes,
I don't think
appreciate it. You're
anyone
very
has
gracious.
authority over you except for maybe Wendy.
I get into the psychology of it all. All right, enough derailing it. Let's talk more Batman. I mean, Mike, how did you first come across Batman? What are like your earliest memories?
Well, like Steven, I remember watching it after school. I come home from school and that's the first thing I'd turn on is Batman. You know, I'd watch Batman and then I diverged into a lot of other 70s stuff like Good Times. What's Happening?
Well, What's Happening? I adored
Remember that show?
Oh God, yes. Rerun.
Yeah.
I
Rerun.
adored that show. I was so disappointed because it didn't last long. It was
No,
only
it
on.
didn't.
It was only on as long as Rerun could be there. Because then Rerun left. That happened a lot in 70s shows.
Yeah.
The star of the show would just be gone.
Yeah, he made that show. He really
It'd be like, where's Rerun? Where's Fred Sanford? Where's Chrissy from Three's Company. Where do these people
Yeah.
go? And as a kid, I felt so just betrayed by their departure,
Right.
you know?
But yeah, my earliest memories is coming home from school, watching Batman, after school and stuff like that. I didn't see it first run. I wasn't born yet, so
Yeah.
Yep.
But
I
Super
remember
Friends.
Go ahead.
Well, I was just saying, Super Friends was a big part of it. It seems that even though it wasn't always Adam West doing the voice, especially in those early years, there was like 1 or 2 seasons of it, right, where it actually was Adam West's voice.
I think so.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
it was.
But it was just that was like the vibe, that was just like there was a superhero vibe in the mid 70s that was really, it was just fun, it just felt like it was fun, and it really was geared toward kids and stuff, but that was just perfect, it was just perfect. So the Batman stuff, Batman and Robin, they had in the Super Friends, they had the same dynamic, the old chum,
Yeah.
they would do that stuff, and
Did
he would
Robin
say
do
the
the
holies.
holy?
Yeah,
Did
he'd
he?
do the holy
Okay.
stuff. And I think so.
Man,
think so.
It's been a long time since I watched Super Friends, so I don't remember.
I think I have a DVD box set of it somewhere around here.
All
like
I
season
remember-
1 or something.
Yeah, all I remember from Super Friends is Wonder Twin powers
Yes.
activate. And I always like a pail of water. What is that?
Yeah, what kind of power is that? That's
A pail of water.
Well, he had to be water, and she had to be an animal
right, to carry the water.
So she could carry the pail of water.
or drink the water.
That was the dumbest characters ever.
Zam and Zana,
Sam
and their monkey, their blue monkey Gleek.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I forgot about Gleek.
But see, originally it was Wendy, Marvin, and Wonder Dog.
Yeah, I like them better.
Yeah.
I
Well,
like them way better.
And then the Super Friends, it would be on for like an hour and a half on Saturday mornings, and they would have these like safety tips that they would take breaks for.
Oh yeah.
Like these public service announcements,
right?
Brought to you by Marvel or DC superheroes. Is this stuff all available on HBO Max?
I think
let me check.
There's a lot of DC stuff up
There is a lot of DC stuff.
That whole streaming service is pretty dense.
I know the 66 Batman, it's lost in limbo somewhere because there's licensing issues galore with that thing.
I think a lot of that stuff has been cleared up though, hasn't it?
I don't know, because ABC originally owned the Batman series.
Yeah.
The original television series. And Disney owns ABC.
Mhm.
So there's some kind of, I don't know, there's some kind of licensing issues there.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Man, it's taken me forever to get to the bottom of the page so I can hit the DC hub for HBO Max.
Are you gonna watch the Snyder cut of Justice League, Jimmy?
Of course. Yes. I'm looking. I haven't seen the first one. I put it on a few times and it just didn't hold my attention. I didn't go see it in the theaters.
It's not the best. It's
the last DC movie I saw in the theaters was the first Wonder Woman, I think. I think that's the last one I saw. And I like that.
Yeah, that was a good one. That was good.
All right.
We had an episode where we talked about the failures of DC's films.
The failures.
The failures.
The failures.
Of the latest DC.
Guys, it's too many cooks in the kitchen now.
I agree.
It's just way too many cooks in the kitchen. Corporate people who really shouldn't have anything to do with filmmaking having a big say at the table, and it's happening across the board in Hollywood.
Well, with Justice League, there was more to it than that too, because Snyder, he had some tragedy happen during the filming of that.
Right. Yeah.
So he left the filming, and then they brought in Joss Whedon, and
then that guy, he's a whole like wheelbarrow full of controversy too, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and then Joss Whedon works for Disney and does Marvel stuff. So you just brought the enemy in to film
The
DC.
enemy.
I
don't think it should be really looked like it, like
yeah,
that.
well, I look at it that way. I think Joss Whedon came in and said, "How can I screw you guys?"
Oh, I don't think that's what he did. Is
I
that what
think
he
he
did?
was looking for money. Hey, yeah, sure, I'll come in and help you with
But
your movie.
Get out of here.
And so I only
It's
see
a lot of
so,
responsibility to take on these multi-bajillion-dollar movie film franchises. It's not like,
I'm joking.
are there people just rolling into them saying, I'm just going to crap all over this and take their money? I don't know. I don't know what kind of business model that is.
DC
but
and Marvel, that's a harsh war there.
Hollywood is weird, though. I'll give you that, man. And anything could happen. So
I
I
can't
can put it
imagine.
past them. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's great, but I am looking forward to it. And Zack Snyder, I like the Watchmen. I liked
Okay.
what he did with that movie.
Oh,
I enjoyed that. I did. I liked it. And I like the comic. Now, see, I know the comics since the 80s. And so I was expecting a lot. And there were, some changes that I thought were kind of rough. But for the most part, I thought it was very faithful to the comic. Except the end. They changed the whole end and stuff. But the end was weird to begin with. And then they brought the proper ending back for the Watchmen series that was on HBO.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they brought that whole premise back.
Okay.
They brought a lot of, that was interesting. That was interesting.
See,
Mhm.
I never read the comics, so I didn't know a lot about Watchmen. I knew.
Yeah,
that
see, I was really attracted to it in a geeky way because I was like religious to the comic book.
Sure.
Like I knew each panel, right? And so when Snyder did his movie, he shot it like the panels were laid out. It was very faithful to that.
Mm.
I mean, not 100%. I mean, there are things that have to be different because of the film.
Yeah.
But I mean, I just thought it was brilliant to see all that come to life that way. And I thought Jackie Earle Haley was really good.
He was.
I thought the whole cast was good.
Mhm.
And yes, I thought it was pretty faithful to the comic. There were changes in the plot here and there. And it's like, I know a lot of Watchmen fans will have different opinions about it, and that's fine, but that's just what I think. I was just really excited to see how faithful shots were, shot by shot, like to the panels. I still
I'm gonna have to compare. I'm gonna have to go back and compare now because it's been a while. I did see it in the theater, but I don't think I caught it because I wasn't familiar with the comic book at the time.
See, that's the thing. I went into that movie being like very, very familiar with the comic.
Yeah, see,
because
I wasn't, and my wife and I went and seen it, and
you're probably like, what the hell is this?
I hated it. I hated it. And I'm a comic book nerd, and I absolutely hated the movie. And I looked at Brenda and I said, I apologize. We will never get that. We will never get that 3.5 hours of our lives back again.
Ooh, was it that long?
Yeah, it was.
I don't think it was that long. We saw it in IMAX.
It was at least 3 hours.
Listen, I guess they should have put some pants on the blue ding dong.
Yes.
I was traumatized by Dr. Manhattan.
Yeah,
Really?
I always forget about that. And,
I didn't.
In the comic,
thank God it wasn't in 3D.
It's just, male full frontal nudity is still something that most people, I think, are a little uncomfortable with or creeped out by, I mean, I heard everything from people saying, oh, I couldn't look at that naked guy to it wasn't big enough. It should have been bigger. I'm like, I don't know. I saw it in IMAX. I don't know what you're talking about. But I mean, that stuff was in my popcorn, So
if it was in 3D, it would have hit us in the face.
Yeah. Watchmen is it's like that.
So do we know how long Justice League is? So
Yeah, back to Justice League.
Is it going to be the same amount of time though? I mean, yeah, that was a long, it was a long movie, but
Hey, we don't have to change our rating on this episode, do we?
No.
No,
You know what?
no.
That stuff is, you don't have to do any of that stuff. I say let people who listen to it, they can judge it.
Right.
They could be the judge of that.
So I first heard that Justice League was going to be like 10 episodes. Then it was like, no, but I've heard a couple hours. Then I've heard 3 hours, 4 hours. I guess we won't know until until it comes out.
I think the latest I had heard it was 4 hours, which I'm like, I'll watch it on Saturday. I'm not watching a 4-hour movie on Thursday night. I'm too old for that.
I'll probably watch in shifts.
Right.
Yeah. I'll watch in shifts.
Right.
All right.
At some point, I'll get fatigued and turn it off or fall asleep. One of two things will happen.
That's exactly what will happen to me if I try to watch that on Thursday night. And then I get up at 4 a.m. to go to get ready for work. So there's no way.
Right.
Mm-hmm. You
Well,
can
hey,
get up at midnight and watch it before you have to get ready for work.
True.
Yeah. Well,
yeah, that really make your day, I'm sure.
I'm watching the time. Jimmy, how you doing on time? We want to be respectful of your time. We know you're super busy.
I have, believe it or not, I have another show to go to. Chris Mock, who does mocktails from the cantina.
Yeah, we had him on.
We had Chris on.
Yep, he's great.
He's doing a live St. Patrick's Day weekend stream.
Oh, wow. Cool.
So I'm gonna go from this to a live thing.
Okay.
And what are you gonna have to drink on a show? Because I know you got to have a drink.
Oh, I gotta. Should I go get a beer? I've been drinking coffee, but I'm out of coffee.
You're gonna have to have a beer for Chris.
I'll go get a beer for Chris. Yeah, he likes that. He likes that. Mocktails, cocktails. You get it.
Yeah, it's great.
So, but no, he's when I first started doing all of this podcasting and stuff, he's I think the first person I ever met, like in person and stuff. Yeah, we just connected. It was like one of the first, and because he's local,
yeah,
he works in the Chicago area all the time.
Nice.
And so I brought him in to a radio show that we sat in on. That was they were broadcasting live from a restaurant. It was like a live remote. And it was the station that I was at, 105.9 WCKG.
Great radio voice there too.
Yeah, right. And so we went out there and we talked Star Wars and Chris's documentary and everything. And it was fun. And we just clicked. And then,
cool.
We hung out at the convention afterwards, which was in LA. And that was in 2007.
Okay.
So yeah, I've probably known him since like 2006, 2007. So
he was
he's
our
great guy. We really enjoyed the time, and we keep telling people to check out his show because he's genuine. He comes across pretty genuine when he's on his doing the mocktails and as he talks about Star Wars and just his life and stuff. So yeah, he was fun when we had him on.
Yeah, so he was our first guest.
So I'm getting nervous now because I got to go to do that in about 10 minutes. And I don't know. I think there's something I have to download or something. I don't know how he's doing it. So I better go look at those instructions. So you can see me there. You can find me at rebelforceradio.com talking about Star Wars. Download RFR anywhere. And it was just a pleasure to be on here talking Batman with you guys, going off on a couple of tangents.
I know, right?
But that's okay.
It's totally
that's
okay. It's been fun.
Like,
we do
how could you let the conversation slip out of control like that? And I say, well, it is a conversation after all, isn't
right? I'm so on that. When Mike asked me the same question, why'd you let that go off the rails? It was a conversation. Hey, remember Jim said? Thank you for that. I appreciate it.
Yes, sirs. And thank you guys for having me on, the two geeks and a microphone.
Yes, sir. Thank
you.
We love it.
Best of luck with your show.
And thank you. And thanks for being with us. This has been great. We know you're busy. We do appreciate sincerely you taking the time just to hang out with us at our, as Mike calls it, our virtual coffee table. So this is
fun.
Fabulous.
Great.
This has been great. Thank you.
Awesome. All right, guys, a pleasure.
It's been good. thank you so much. Hey, Mike, do you want to echo us out? Are we ready to roll?
Sure. So we've had a great time with Jimmy Mack and in the on the virtual coffee table in the back cave. So with that said, we're gonna take it on out of here. May the force be with you and all that good stuff. Thank you for joining us today on the Two Geeks and a Microphone podcast. Tune in next week when we will have more news and reviews. Until then,
May the force be with you.